welcome back to the Washington College Sports Spotlight Series. I'm Nick Lewis. Joining the spotlight today is the new head baseball coach at Washington College, Tom Fiala. Tom, thanks for taking the time.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. Good to be here. Excited.
Yeah. So let's just jump right in. Obviously, with the announcement coming out today, how special is it now that your first collegiate head coaching gig, you get to, lead the team that you played for, your alma mater?
Yeah, it's pretty surreal, to be completely honest. It's been a place that's been so like near and dear to my heart for 10 years, like some of the best memories of my life. Met my wife there, some of my best friends that still friends with to this day, and had like uh, like awesome memories on the field, around campus, community. It's a place that even when I wasn't at Washington for the handful of years, we'd be back there consistently. So just to be able to like set up shop in Chestertown, with all the guys that I've known for the past 4 years, I mean, it's just awesome. Like I couldn't ask for anything better. My wife couldn't ask for anything. Like we're super excited to get going, and yeah, now that's pretty much it.
You've been an assistant coach for the program for a number of years now, as of a couple years ago, being the assistant head coach of the team. What did it mean for you to work under, the former head coach, Corey Beddick, who's since left? How has that helped you step into this role?
Yeah, and most everything that has like all the good things that have happened over the past couple weeks and even years, like I directly attribute to Coach Beddick. Like he's the reason I'm here today, and he's the reason I'm going to be able to do this at Washington College for the foreseeable future. And like I couldn't thank him enough. He's like just it wasn't just the baseball that he taught me, like the on field and prepping and planning, but it was so much of behind the scenes work that is like the key to a successful program. The hard work, the countless hours that no one sees. That's it's kind of the expectation to be able to do all that and succeed at a high level. And that's what I expect to keep going here.
You stepping at the helm now, what are some of the things that you were able to inherit from Coach Beddick that you'll likely keep? And if there are any that you know off the top, what are some things that you might look to implement as you take the helm?
Well, yeah, I mean, so much of the stuff that it's going to be implemented like by our coaching staff going forward is stuff that we've been doing over the last couple of years. Coach Beddick was great in crowdsourcing so much of his information because he wanted as much input. Like, how can we do stuff differently? How can we make this better? And that's what we tried to do over the past 4 years. So much of what we've done is was all of us deciding. And going forward, like I don't know how much is going to change like drastically. There are little things, but there was going to be little things we were going to change anyway because we're always trying to push the envelope, do better on the pitching side or the offensive side, find a new piece of technology that can help us develop and win games. Like that was all going to change. So it's hard to say like a specific thing that we're going to change because we've been changing and working together over the past 4 years. So yeah, it's hard to say something specifically, but I'm sure when the guys show up in the fall, there'll be some different things thrown at them that they weren't expecting. And but I don't think that's necessarily because of the coaching change, just because we're always trying to get a little bit better every single year.
Now, of course, yourself as a pitching coach by nature, how does that sort of come in to, I guess, help you now taking the helm of the program? And does that affect how you look for assistant coaches or how you build out your staff in any way?
Yeah, well, speaking on the staff, I think like we're super lucky that we're going to be able to keep some of the guys that have been around the team the last couple of years. In Coach Dylan Niepert, he's going to be hanging around and helping us out. He's on the offensive side of the ball. We're going to be joined by a former graduate who just graduated in the spring, Alex Benzowitz, who's been learning and like really picking up on how we do things on the pitching side of the ball. So I can really trust him to kind of run with it on that side and implement a lot of these things that we've been doing over the past 4 years that have shown so much strides on that side. And I think we'll look to bring in another offensive minded coach to kind of complement the 2-on-2, like 2-and-2 basically. Like in my perfect world, I can kind of mosey in between the offensive and the pitching side of the ball and really manage instead of being locked in on just pitching. Like that's not what I want to do. And of course, I'm going to be partial to that side of the ball just because of how important I do believe it is. But that would be the ideal the coaching staff is guys on both sides of the ball. And I also think that with a guy like we call him Bendo because Benzlowitz is a mouthful, but he was a position player. Like he understands that side of the ball as well, and that's something that I look for in coaches, being able to see both sides because I think hitters can learn from pitchers and pitchers can learn from hitters because that's who they're going against every single pitch of every single game. So I think we're set up pretty good. We're going to add to it, hopefully on the offensive side, but we'll bring in the best person for the job, no matter what side they're going to help us with.
What are some of the things that you'll be looking for in terms of future Shoremen?
Yeah, I mean it's a great question, something we hear a lot about throughout the summer, and how when potential student athletes kind of jump into this process, they're looking really, what are you looking for? So, I mean, the first thing I'm looking for is a certain tool. Like what do you like do something well? Do you run really fast? Do you hit the ball really well? You consistent barrels on the mound? Do you throw harder than most, or do you have a specific pitch type? And then once like I kind of say that like it puts you in the door, and then we kind of dissect you and see how like what else do you bring to the table as far as on the field works, and then it really goes to the off the field stuff. Like we've had such a privilege of having such high quality like people on our team, and that goes to like how they work in the classroom, how they work off the field in the weight room, and the development in the winter, the summer, the extra time in the fall. Like that all goes into why we've been so successful over the past 4 or 5 years. So I think there's a lot of different ways that we like to see a player play on the field, but we expect them to be like respect the game, hustle on and off the field, hustle through. Like you ground out to shortstop, we expect you to try and beat that out. And then how they treat their teammates, how they treat their coaches, how they treat their parents is a big one because like that's like I see it as a family. Like when guys decide to come here, like we're taking mom, dad, sister, brother, cousin, like we want them all to be a part of the Shoreman family. So it's a big deal to me is how they treat everyone around them because that's probably going to how they treat their teammates or they're going to treat me. So if we bring in high quality people, I expect to get high quality results.
As you move forward, as you start to look forward, is there a particular brand of baseball you see this program taking on? And I guess, what do you look for in terms of what this program's future looks like going into this coming season and beyond?
Yeah, so a brand of baseball, I think, is always a tricky thing because you never know exactly what you're going to get out of some of these guys. But in my ideal world, we're going to be a pitching centric. We're going to play great defense. We're going to make like we're going to limit our mistakes that we make on in the field. And that's not to say I don't love guys who can hit home runs and bomb the ball around the ballpark, but um, we like we've studied it, we've learned it. The team that makes the least amount of mistakes wins the most games. We've had teams, and I've been a part of teams that can smash the ball over the ballpark, but we've struggled in the field or we've struggled on the mound, giving up too many free 90s. And I think that's extremely important. Being able to pitch with consistency, deep, play defense at a high level, push the envelope on the base paths, and just put timely hits together, 2-out hits, clutch hits, and the occasional home run. I'll always love that. But I think I'd like to play clean baseball. If it's to be a one size fits all phrase, clean baseball. We just graduated so many like guys that have been such a big part of this program on the field, and we graduated 19 guys. Like, there are bound to be some, like, we're going to be young. I still think we're extremely talented. This crop of incoming student athletes is just, it's awesome. Like, I can't wait for them to get here in the fall and like really learn what it's like to play at Athey Park and be a Shoreman and do everything that we do. But I expect there to be hiccups just because they're young. Like, that's just the way it is. But I look at that as growing experience. How are we going to grow? How much better are we going to be at the end of this season, let alone 2 seasons, 3 seasons? And it's just going to build. So that, and I expect to be right back where we were this year. Hopefully battling for playoffs every single year going forward. And like, the goal is to win a conference championship, get to a regional, get to a super regional. And once you get to those formats, like, anything's possible. I'll take the hot team rolling any single day. And that's like, I hate to put like a ceiling on it or whatever, but we just want to win the game that we're being played. I think that with the academics and everything else that Washington College has to offer, we can recruit an extremely high caliber of student athlete. And that means that I expect to be competing at the top ends of the region, and I expect to be competing at the top ends of the nation. But it's not going to be perfect, and we're going to be building on it every single year. And the future's bright, in my opinion.
New head baseball coach Tom Fiala, thanks for stopping by the spotlight, and best of luck this coming season.
Awesome. Thank you. Appreciate it.